everybody from? I was just sharing that I'm from Charleston.
I'm from Mississippi.
I'm from California.
Oregon.
Isn't that crazy? How insane.
Yes.
Yay, Louisville. Yep. Pennsylvania. I love it. I love it.
Let's see how many states we can cover.
Mhm.
This is cool.
Someday we'll have all 50 states on one call. Like, that's my goal.
Oh, how cool would that be?
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
All
Especially
right.
Hawaii. I want to go to
Oh,
Hawaii.
gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
One
Alright.
day, right? We're all dreaming of traveling, right?
Yeah, that's like our 15-star retreat. All right, you guys. Who start? Look, y'all, we're a hot mess tonight. Like, if you learn anything from this call tonight, we do not have it together, but we love it. We love it.
We do.
I think Kendra is kicking us off. Is that right?
Kendra is kicking us off.
I
Yeah.
think I am.
Oh.
Welcome, y'all. We are so glad that you are here. We know that it's probably just like at my house. It's like there's all this stuff going on. Maybe you just got home from work. Maybe your state is opening up again. Maybe you've been gone out of your house and now you're rushing back for this, or you've been home and you have people running around and you're like, shh, we get it. Welcome to the world of coaching, where you show up exactly as you are. Let me just say again, thank you. My name is Kendra, and I am a coach. Like I said, I'm from California, and tonight we are just going to share a little bit of our story and just share with you how coaching has impacted our life. And just if we hadn't become a coach, kind of where would we be, and how much has our life changed? And what I love about leading this call with this particular group of women, one, these are my friends, and you will, my really, really good friends, kind of my besties in the business, if you will. And you'll see that we are from all over the country. And it's a great example of how we met through this business online. And now we share life, and we share our exciting, we share business stuff, but gosh, we share so much more than that. So we are just gonna, that's our, well, let me just say, that's our heart tonight, is to just come, show you our real lives, and talk about how coaching has so impacted our life. And so before we get going, I'm just gonna share a little bit about me. I'm a mama, I'm a wife to 3 biological children, and then 1 bonus child. Oh my goodness, y'all, 10 years ago this month. So this month is a little crazy month for us. 10 years ago this month, my first husband and the father of my children passed away from cancer. He was diagnosed 10 months earlier, out of the blue, super healthy, literally coaching our son. I have a 20-year-old and 18-year-old boy-girl twins. At the time, they were elementary school, much, much younger. And he was coaching my son baseball, woke up at that, and we had a tournament, woke up in the middle of the night with a stomach ache, went to the hospital, and our world forever changed. And we didn't come home from the hospital until a month later. And then he was deep into chemotherapy, and we were trying to save his life. And unfortunately, cancer took over. And so I tell you that not to start this call with a downer, but just to let you know that we are real people who have had real life experiences. We are not like this picture, at least I am not, and none of us are, but we are not this like picture perfect life of just everything has gone well, and so therefore our coaching business goes well. No, I turned to coaching because as a single mom and a widow, when my life totally changed, I turned to taking care of my 3 babies and taking care of everybody else. And so often, whether we lose a spouse or we are working or whatever our situation is, as mamas and as women, we naturally take care of everybody else. And what I love about this business is that it's, 1, given me such incredible friends, but 2, it has helped me be accountable to my own health and wellness, which is one of the best, greatest gifts that we can give to ourselves. And the other thing that I love about this business is that we know we all have a deep faith, and we know that each one of us and each one of you was created with a purpose, that your story matters, that all the past, all the things that you've been through matters. It makes you who you are today. And that whether that's messy or beautiful or whatever that looks like, it's definitely beautiful no matter what, but we can take our mess, our messy, beautiful story and use it as a message to help others. And so through coaching, I've been able to develop a platform where I can help widows. I can help other women who have any kind of loss. And that's sort of how I have used this platform to help other people. And that has been my goal all along. And little did I know that in my desire to get healthy, that I could also build a business and then also help other people and be able to provide for my family. So just so you know, I was a teacher. Then after my husband passed away, I was hired by companies to teach their staff. And then when I became a coach, I ended up going back to school, becoming a certified grief, life, and health and wellness coach. And then I launched my Beachbody business kind of all at the same time. And now I have a practice where I work with clients with grief. I work with clients all over the world, but I get to also do Beachbody, and it's totally the desire of my heart. So I tell you that because so often I get messages from people, and we all do, that talk about the fact that we are like, well, my story is like, I don't have it all together. I don't know like that my story would really impact anybody. And we are here to say, I am here to say, you were created with a purpose. You have an incredible story, and your story does matter, and it can absolutely impact lives, and you can have a huge influence on people. We believe God created you and that He wants you to tell that story of your life and your journey to others, because there's people out there that need to hear it. So that's just some of the blessing from coaching from my perspective. I think I'm passing it over to Rachel.
Yeah, I think I'm up next. So most of you guys, like, tell us in the comments, like, or in the chat bar, how much do you already know about coaching, or is this the first time you're ever hearing about it? Because if you don't know, we obviously take care of our bodies. Like, I've never been the fit girl. I've never been the girl with the 6-pack abs or like the biceps or anything like that. And I'm still not. My body is just not built the way that some other people look. So like, I came into coaching with this super like really doubt-filled persona of who am I? Like, who am I to start leading people in health and fitness? I am not a health and fitness expert, right? But if you don't know, what we do essentially is, one, we make our health a priority. We say, and listen to what I say, please. It's going to sound weird, but our body is our business. And that doesn't mean that I have a 6-pack. I have biceps that are out of this world. It just means that my body is valuable. It is valuable to me. It is valuable to God. And I treat it that way. And thank God that He did create Beachbody programs to teach us how to work out, to teach us how to eat clean, to teach us how to get results and keep them, right? And so like, that's number one. And that's the number one thing that we do. And then secondly, we share our story on social media, which I think Abby's going to talk about in a little bit. And then third, we lead other women. Now, the leadership was the part where I really came into this. Like, I am not a leader. Like, I have no Instagram following. I had like 150 friends on Facebook. I was like the smart girl in school, but I never aspired to like leadership positions whatsoever. And so to think of like leading people on social media, leading people in my challenge groups, leading people as I grew a team, like that really, really overwhelmed me and honestly held me back for a while. But what I found was that we become an expert at whatever we do consistently. And so like, when I came into coaching, I started to do things like read personal development, which I had never done before. I started to realize that, hey, I am so capable of being consistent in my own fitness, in my own health, in my own business activities. And that actually makes me sort of an expert and a leader, right? And so like, I want to tell you from my standpoint that if you have any of those doubts, if you have any of those fears, like I know I shared with some people today, like I was so scared what people would think about me. And honestly, I was so scared to fail, and I have failed a lot. I have failed a lot as a coach. But what has happened, the good things that have happened, is that I've learned only to care what God thinks about me, only to care about the purpose that He has given me. I've learned that failure is a good thing. Like, I learn every time I fail. And I've also learned that I can become a better leader. People are not born leaders, you guys. just hear that. Like, people are not born leaders. You can learn leadership, and I am living proof of that. And so when I came into coaching, I started small. I started with my fitness journey. I started to share my story on social media. I started to invite 1, 2, 3 people a day to our challenge groups. I set that goal of helping 3 people every single month in a challenge group, and I have done it. I have done it, and I love, love, love getting to share my story. And what you will realize, like Kendra said, is that your story matters, and just getting confident in what you're doing for yourself, you start to get results in your fitness. You want to share with other people about what you're doing, and we'll teach you the rest. Like, we'll teach you how to grow your social media following. We'll teach you how to invite people. We'll teach you how to run a challenge group. We'll even teach you how to grow your team. But we want to work with people who really have a deep-seated belief that this could be big. Like, I am capable of doing this with the right education, the right leadership, and we want to work with people who really want to make an impact in health and fitness and faith. And so, like, that is, it's very possible to come into this business feeling like, I'm not sure I'm cut out for this, but I feel this tug in my heart that I'm supposed to do it, and just do it. And I want to ask, one of my coaches is on here, Kimberly. She's been a coach for, oh gosh, Kimberly, what, like 6 months maybe?
I think it's like 7.
7
It's
months?
in October.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I'm going to ask her just really quickly to share her coaching story, because she is kind of like a newer coach, but she's also crushing her goals. And I want her to explain like what she's doing, why she's coaching, and what her goals are right now for her business.
So first, I'm just going to say, I told Rachel I was going to maybe be on here. It's bedtime, and so I haven't like really prepared or written out anything I want to say. But so yeah, I signed up in October, and honestly, it was first just for the extra accountability. I have done Beachbody for several years, been in challenge groups, but it was just like I just couldn't keep it going, and so I needed that extra little piece of accountability from a team and from like being quote unquote a leader. At first I was not like, and I'm still not a super leader or anything like that, but just like having people like that I know were counting on me to show up and do what I was like telling them to do. And so that was why I originally signed up. But like, God has just like, he's used coaching in my life in a way that I never thought was possible. Like, the end of last summer, I was in a place that like I was so like I was anxious and I was overwhelmed with just like the little day-to-day things, and felt like I was always like angry at my kids, and just felt this discontent and this stirring in my heart, and I didn't know why. And I can remember telling like my ladies group at church, like, I feel like God's leading me somewhere, but I have no idea what. And so then Rachel and I crossed paths on Instagram, and I just like, I watched her and I saw her journey. I saw her leading with her faith, and I was like, okay, I think this is where I'm going. And so I said yes, and I got into all the trainings, and I just kind of jumped all in. And I'm so thankful that I did. I'm so thankful for the trainings that Rachel has. And um, it's just like I've grown to love it. And like I was thinking today, so in my challenge groups on Wednesdays is kind of like our prayer request day, and I had a challenger text me or message me, and she didn't share it publicly on in our group or anything, but just she kind of just poured out her heart to me. And she's a fairly new challenger, and I don't know her like personally, and it was just like I was just like so humbled and honored that God would use me in a way to lead people, not only in their fitness and health, but like spiritually, and pray for people. And just what an honor that is. And so I'm just so thankful for the community that he's building through me, and just the support that I have from the team that I'm on. And um, just, it's given me something to like feel the like the desire to work. Like I'm a nurse, but I stay home with my kids, and I'm so thankful for that. And so like my husband's job allows me to do that, and it's such a blessing, and I would never take that away for anything. But just to have something to like outside of being a mom, like to work for, and just so I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of rambling, but hopefully that kind of spoke. what we're
I
here
love it.
for.
I
But
love it. I think all our stories are so unique, and I think it's fun to hear from other people who are crushing it, who are just like everybody else. So thank you so much, Kimberly. All right, who am I passing it? And you guys, ask us questions. Like as we talk, please ask us questions about anything. If you have questions specifically about the work or the money, we'll get into that kind of stuff. But we really just wanted to share with you our, I guess, limiting beliefs, really, and how we have overcome them to become pretty successful Beachbody coaches, if I can say that. Kate, all right, you're up, Katie. I think. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Hi, guys. So I'm so excited to have you all here. I want to just say something, like ask you guys something is one of the things, and even for those of you that have been coaching for a long time, but one of the things that I know for me and for many of my coaches prevented me from saying yes to the coaching opportunity was fear. Has anybody else felt that way? Lots of heads shaking. Okay. I want to talk about that because I was super scared. My coach had asked me 4 times to become a coach. And every single time she would ask me, nope, never going to do that. There's no way. I had a million reasons of why I could not do this. I would not be good at this. I was a private person. I had a lot about my past that I would never share with anybody. And I just had, like I said, a million reasons as to why I wouldn't be good at this and this wouldn't be good for me. But I thought about it all the time because I followed all of these coaches, including my coach, and I absolutely admired what they got to do. And I loved that they got to help other people feel better in their own skin. And I love that they got to make an impact like they were making, whether it was helping women feel better or helping men and women create successful, stable businesses and them feeling like they were making an impact. When I came into Beachbody, I came into this opportunity as a client. I owned an interior decorating business. I worked for Pottery Barn and I did all their in-home appointments. And honestly, I thought it was my dream job and I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't feel like I was making a purpose. I didn't feel passionate. And I didn't feel like I was making an impact. And for some reason, I thought I would kind of check all those boxes with that career choice. And I didn't want to let anybody know because I went back to school, I went and got certified, and I was like, I cannot tell anybody that this isn't for me. Like, they'll think I wasted all this time. I had all these things that I told myself in my head. And so when I became a client, I had a decade of struggles, from postpartum depression that never seemed to go away, to being on a lot of medications, to having suicidal thoughts and getting in such a bad place that I was hospitalized for a week, to leaving the hospital and being even more heavily medicated for the next 5 years. And during that 5-year period, I had gained 50 pounds because food and alcohol made me feel better. And I had found myself in this really horrible place. And about 6 years ago from this past March, I had just drew the line in the sand, and I was like, I don't care how long this takes. I just want to feel better in my own skin. And I thought, if I get skinny, I'll just be happy and all my problems will go away, which is so stupid, but that's what I thought. And, I started this journey, and honestly, I had tried so many quick fixes and fads, and I thought, this journey is stinking hard. I have to change my habits. I have to work out every day. I'm 50 pounds overweight. This is going to be hard. But I refused to quit because I made a promise to myself and I made a promise to my family, and I did not want to go back to where I was. And working with my coach, being in an accountability group where I was surrounded by these positive, encouraging women, feeling my body properly, getting a good sweat session in every day, getting those endorphins going, little by little, I started to have glimmers of hope and feeling like, oh my gosh, I may actually be able to feel the way I've been wanting to feel for like over 10 years. And about 5 months into my journey, I remember going to my doctor and telling him all the changes I had made and how great I was feeling. And he was like, I think that we can start to get you off of some of this medication. And I remember getting in my car and just sobbing because I remember thinking I had been dealing with all of this for over a decade. And I'm finally going to be able to like free myself of so many chains because I applied all these tools. I was reading personal development. I was not suffering from depression and anxiety and feeling like I couldn't get out of bed or function anymore. I mean, so many things about my life were changing. And, you know, I was thinking about coaching during that time, but I just felt like I still had weight to lose. I didn't want to share my story with anybody. I had all of these fears that were going in my head. And I thought, you know, what if people judge me, or what if people aren't nice, or who would ever want to come to me for help? You know, I had all of these fears, which were lies filling in my head. And so it wasn't until the fourth time that my coach asked me to become a coach that I actually said yes. And you guys, it was the scariest thing I ever said yes to. I mean, honestly, besides maybe going down the water slide in Atlantis, the water slide that goes through the Shark Tank. True story. I went through, we earned a Beachbody trip, and Kendra was with me at the top of the slide, and I honestly thought I was going to die. I was like, I can't do this. But, you know, I ended up taking that leap, and I remember putting my first post out on Facebook. Guys, I remember hitting post. I was sweating. I was shaking. I thought I was going to vomit. I'm like, what did I just get myself into? But you know what, guys? I am so incredibly grateful that I pushed past that fear, because not only did this journey completely give me my life back and give my husband his wife back, my children their mom back, and give like me my life back, I've been able to impact other people's lives in ways that I never thought I would be able to. Even women who have dealt with suicide, who have dealt with depression, who have dealt with postpartum depression, anxiety, who have been able to come into this community, have the support, apply these tools, and turn their life around. And as we all know, it doesn't magically happen. They have to do the work. But to be able to have an impact like that in other people's lives has just been incredible. And you know, I always wondered why I went through everything I went through. And during that time, I would have never said, I'll go through this again, God, please give me these mountains all over again. But I am so grateful that I went through everything I went through, because I truly believe like now I get to share and help with other women like that are facing the same kind of mountains in their life. And I get to let them know that there's hope, and that there is a reason that they're here, and that there's purpose, and that they deserve to take good care of their minds and their bodies and their souls. And one of the things that Abby and Rachel and Kendra and I were talking about earlier today as we were preparing and going about our day was, who would have ever thought that Beachbody would have brought us closer to God? Never in a million years. But it's just been incredible to watch all of our faith just strengthen and grow along the way in coaching. And so I get it. I get being scared. I get having the fear. But I think if my coach wasn't courageous enough to share her own journey, I wouldn't be where I am today. And if I wasn't courageous enough to share my own story, I know so many of my clients wouldn't be where they are today. And so I always think about that, what a gift we have to offer. And when I think about it that way, it doesn't feel so scary anymore. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me, but if you don't, Abby can go next.
Oh man, I always hate following you, Katie, because I just love your story. I remember the first time meeting you and always like admiring you from afar, because I like to creep on other coaches and social distance, and then hearing your story. And obviously like nobody knows the background of what's going on in people's lives, right? And so like actually hearing like what you had been through, it's like, oh my gosh. I hope that you guys can see we're so passionate about this. Like, yes, we love helping women get in shape, and it's not wrong to want six-pack abs, and it's not wrong to want to be healthy and look hot. But what I think we all love so much about this is like fitness and nutrition is sort of the gateway into so many other things. Like women come to us because they want to feel better and feel more confident. And then you start to see this ripple effect where you can start to show up in other areas of your life and find that confidence. And it's just so powerful. So I am in Oregon. I apologize if you guys can hear traffic going by, but I have to listen to my 6-year-old out in the backyard. So I'm monitoring my kids. And I came into this business also as a client. I had been totally cold messaged, one of those spammy messages that everybody hates. Well, I'm so thankful for it because it was this gal from like a What to Expect group when I was pregnant with my son. And she reached out to me about the 21-day fix. I don't know if any of you guys have done that program, but it was on DVD way back when. And I was like, I don't even know how to get back in shape as a new mom. I was working 40 hours a week. I went back to work full time when he was 6 weeks old because he was a surprise. And my husband was in paramedic school and working at the time. So he was gone like 5 nights a week. And I just remember feeling so overwhelmed with trying to take care of a house and a job that I loved, my career, and a husband who was burnt out and so tired coming home, and a new baby. And somehow I found myself, and I'm sure so many women can relate, just getting shoved deeper and deeper on the back burner. And I didn't even know where to start. I knew I liked to work out, but nutrition seemed overwhelming. I love ice cream. I love bread. I never want to give either of them up. And so I just felt so stuck. And so I'm so thankful that this gal reached out to me. All of a sudden, I was getting results. I was feeling incredible. And I actually didn't know that there was a business opportunity attached to this. She kind of faded off into the background, and I just kept redoing my DVDs every day. I did them like 3 times in a row and feeling amazing to the point where people were asking me what I was doing. And I didn't do social media at the time. And I don't know if this is a fear that anybody has, but I think most of us weren't really on social media a lot before becoming coaches. That was my story. I was really good at creeping on people. I liked to see what my friends were doing, but I didn't post often, maybe a couple times a year. And it was never a selfie. Like, heaven forbid I take a selfie of myself, stuff like that. So I remember thinking though, you know what? People post food on Instagram. Like, I bet I could find some recipes for the 21-day fix. So I literally hashtag searched 21-day fix dinner or something along those lines. And I stumbled onto my coach. Being the proud creeper that I am, guys, I didn't follow her. And I would go to her page every day and watch her. The stories weren't a thing then, but I'd watch her post. And I'd be like, what is she doing? Like, I was so confused. For a while, I was like annoyed. I'm like, what is she posting? But I kept finding myself drawn to her because she was doing the workouts that I was doing and loved. But she was like actually making an impact. She was teaching people in her posts. She was giving tips on water and eating out and just educating people. And I loved that. And as I continued to creep on her for 3 months, because I just am absurd like that, she started sharing about the business. And I saw her get to take her family on a vacation to Mexico, all expenses paid. And I remember the post that she made where she talked about sitting in her backyard, watching her 2 boys playing outside on a deck that coaching had helped cover. And she was so thankful that she got to be present for her kids and still do work that she loves. And that was like a knife to my heart in the best way, because what nobody could see from the outside is that I had my dream career. I worked in higher education, absolutely loved it. My husband was being the hot firefighter that everyone knows and loves there. But daycare was killing our son. He was that kid who got sick every time something came through, constantly sick. It was this constant tension of who's going to take time off work to take him to the doctor, and my job's not less important than your job. And just this tension. I felt like I traveled for work a lot, and he was always sick whenever I'd come home. And I remember on a Sunday night one evening, sitting in bed, Googling work from home jobs and just crying because I was like, I like to work. Like Kimberly said, I love working. My career was really important to me. I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, guys. I know that sounds terrible, but I did want to be more present with my son. I wanted to be the mom that could be there to pick him up from school and to not have to decide if I had to go to the meeting or take him for his ear infection or things like that. And I remember looking at all these jobs and feeling like I didn't have any of the qualifications based on my degrees and resume. And then I saw Mel's post, and the wheels started turning where I was like, okay, this could be it. So I sat on it for like 2 weeks. My husband is a finance guy, so he read over all the fine print and was like, Abby, this is a legit amazing job. And he's the one who actually called me out on it because I was scared and stalling. He's like, what's the worst that can happen? And I was like, I don't know, everyone hates me. He's like, no, you get in shape, you get a discount, and maybe you make some new friends. Like, he's like, that's legitimately the worst thing, like worst case scenario. I was like, okay. And he's all about saving the bottom line. So I think the discount was like a big one for him. And he's like, well, what's the best case scenario? And I was like, I think I could, like, maybe someday I could quit my job. I had a hard time even saying that out loud, but it was like, maybe I could cover groceries or pay down some of my grad school debt or things like that, like just these little things. And so I signed up and I posted my very first social media post at midnight because I was so scared that God forbid, anyone would see that Abby had signed up to become a Beachbody coach, which is a fantastic way to start a business, let me tell you. I was so scared, guys. So all of those feelings were really real. But fast forward 2.5 years later of showing up every day, just following the system that we will teach you in our new coach mentorship. We have such an incredible system for you to follow, truly. Working full time, I was able to match and then surpass my income. And now I'm home with my kids. And I get to be home with my daughter like I wasn't for my son. I get to see her toddler silly antics all day and be the one to take her up from her nap. And yes, it's insane half the time, but I love it. And it's what I wanted. And I just feel so incredibly thankful for the income. Working in, getting up a little bit earlier. I'm not going to tell you guys it's easy, but it's easy to do things that have a purpose and a vision for your life. And so being able to have a job that allows me to help other women, to encourage them, like you've heard all these other gals share, but then also start to be there for my kids has been more than I could ever put into words. And so my challenge to you tonight would just be to kind of think through that question that my husband asked me. Like, what's the worst case scenario? People, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? And then what's the, like, what if, like, what would that look like for you? Maybe it's not coming home for your kids, but maybe it's something else in your life that this could truly provide such an incredible gift, and open door for. So as your coaches, if you decided to join our team, our job is to help you connect your vision with the work and the tools that need to connect to make that happen. So we are not your bosses, but we have done it. We have been incredibly successful in this industry, and we have the tools to teach you exactly step by step, literally minute by minute, what you need to do. And the women who take action on it with consistency are the ones who have that same success. And it's not overnight. It took all of us a couple of years to get things rolling, but it does come true. And it's such a gift that we can't shut up sharing about. Hence, you've been invited to this call. So that is kind of where I wrap up. I don't know if you guys have questions on anything. I'm not looking at the chat piece, but, or Kelly, if you had anything you wanted to share. I know we have Kate and Taylor on here too. If you guys had anything you wanted to jump in on.
No, you ladies inspire me so much. And I think that that's like, when you come into the business, if you are just new on this and someone invited you, you look at the people speaking like I used to and think there's no possible way that you could do that. And that's exactly how I felt. And I've been in the business about almost as long as these ladies. And it really truly is like consistency and having faith in that bigger vision that you see and just putting one foot in front of the other. I never dreamt that this could do. I mean, my story is pretty much the same as yours, Abby. Honestly, I just was like, what is worst case scenario? And my husband walked me through it and we said, okay, let's go for it. And I built the business working full time and went through pregnancy with our second child and just worked in those little pockets of time and just always had that bigger vision of how I was serving other people. And if I wasn't inviting them to this opportunity, like who could be missing out on that awesome, not just the fitness, like we said, it's so much more than just getting in shape. And it saved my mental health and gave me such a positive attitude. And I'm part-time now, so I work as a vet tech part-time and I'm home the rest. And, you just keep going. So the possibilities really are endless, but
One more biscuit.
we're eating biscuits, apparently. But yeah, I mean, it's just a really big blessing to be able to do this with other amazing people who inspire you and be home for the crazy, messy moments. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for you ladies. So
Kelly is one of our success partners, if you guys don't know. So like, that's another cool thing I think that I didn't realize coming into this business is that I wouldn't be alone. I mean, you think of it is your own business. Absolutely. It's your business. Like nobody can do it for you. We can teach you, we can lead by example, and we love doing that. But like definitely it's somebody said on a call recently, it's such an individual business in a good way. Like you put your own spin on it, but you're never alone. Like we tell our coaches, we help you set goals. Our basic goal is to start posting, to start inviting people to our challenge groups, to help 3 people every month. And obviously to help you just pay for your products right away. Like that's your first goal. But we teach you how to do that. But as you grow in the business, and like Abby said, you work a lot for a little in the beginning, but it definitely compounds and it adds up. But you also are going to, I could cry. I'm not a crier, but like you meet people like Kendra and Abby and Kimberly and Katie and Kelly. Look at all the K's. Like it's just incredible. Like it's just, I didn't know these people 5 years ago. I didn't know a single one of them. And now they're like my best friends in business and faith and in just so many ways. And we have a blast. We go on vacation together. Like we build our businesses together every day. We push each other, you know, like I know my girls were pushing me today to work towards some bigger goals. And I never got that in my 9 to 5. Never got that in my 9 to 5. And I'm just really thankful for that. So dream big in your fitness, dream big in your faith, dream big in your finances, dream big in your friends, you guys. Like the possibilities are absolutely endless. So I don't know if anybody else has anything else to add to that, or if you guys have questions for us, but that is our call. Like that is our call. And actually right after this call, a couple of us are kicking off our new coach mentorship call, like a kickoff call for our new coaches who joined this month. So we will support you. We will guide you. We will give you the tools, the information. We'll give you the pep talks. We'll give you the, you know, the prayers, whatever you need to help you build a business. But we definitely want to work with people who want to do this, who want to make an impact, and who are willing to grow and get uncomfortable and just dream big. So anybody else have anything to add to that? If not, we are going to instruct you to follow up with the person who invited you here. Reach out to them. I'm sure they'll reach out to you too, but definitely get in touch. Ask questions. If you're ready to go, let's go. It's never a bad time to join. Like these gals said, there's honestly nothing to lose, except a little weight maybe. But that's it. That's our, here's what it is. We want you to join us. Let's do it kind of kickoff thing. Okay. All right. That's all I got, you guys. Anybody else? We good?
I will say one other thing, because I think it didn't, oh, my daughter's speaking really quick before she starts yelling at me, is one thing that I hear from some coaches is like, well, I don't have a transformation yet, or like, I've never done a Beachbody program or anything like that. And so I just wanted to tell you, if that's your story, like the messy middle is so much more relatable. Just like kicking off where you are and being excited just to start. People relate so much more to watching you show up every day and just struggle through and be real than waiting for you to have that perfect, amazing transformation at the end, which you will have. So don't let that be something that stops you, or the fact that you're not an expert at anything, because none of us were. And all of us have gone through our own ups and downs of fitness or pregnancies or just all the stuff. And so it's not about being a supermodel. It's about being a real life, just in the trenches with you, fit best friend kind of a person. So that's all, in case anyone was thinking that. Do you guys have any other questions that we haven't covered yet? I know all of us are literally open books. Not, that's totally
Do we
fine.
have time for me to say one more thing? Because this is the question I get a lot. Y'all, I live in Northern California, so right near Silicon Valley. So I'm surrounded by a lot of people who work for really big corporations and are all around us. And one of the questions I get all the time, or the skepticism I get, is like, I'm not really sure that's a real job. Okay, so if you have a spouse or a friend or a family member who's been like, I don't know about that, I want to tell you, I've done all the research. All of us have. What this comes down to is this job simply looks different than your traditional job. And so often when something looks different, people are a little afraid. They don't know. They got to put it down because it's not normal. And especially in our community, unless you work 5,000 hours a week, it's not really a real job, because the only way you make a lot of money is if you work these ungodly hours and you're a slave to your company. So here's what I know is true. Number one, that is not how God intended for us to live our life. Number one. Number two, this is a totally legitimate company. So if you have more questions about that, certainly talk to the person who invited you. But the reason why we can adamantly, confidently say this is a legitimate company is because we only get paid for, one, exchanging goods, actual items, and providing a service. It is a legitimate company because we provide goods, actual tools, and we provide a service. That is what any other company does. I don't care if you're a software company. I don't care if you're a law office. I don't care what your company is. You make money because you provide services, you provide goods, or you provide both. That is what this company does. This is what we do. We just cut out the middleman. We do it all. And so I want you to have confidence. If you're like feeling that stirring in your heart, like, ooh, could this really be for me? I think this could be good for me. But you have somebody in your ear going, well, that's not really real, because it's not like you don't work for anybody. It's a totally a real job. I work with a CPA. My husband owns his own company. We go to the CPA together. This is a legitimate company, and I can go on and on and on about that. But I want you to have confidence that not only are you saying yes to a job that can literally transform not only your body, but your heart and your mind and your soul, but you're also saying yes to like being your own stinking CEO of a real, valid corporation and company that you create. And so do not be intimidated by the things that people say who don't know. And so if this is an issue, if this is a tension in your marriage or in your home or even in your own heart, please reach out, and the person who invited you can explain this more. You can reach out to me, whatever, but I want you to take confidence in the fact that this is absolutely a legitimate business in every way, shape, or form. We are, all of us, women of integrity. We would never be involved in something that's not so super legitimate that we could feel so proud about what we do. So know that.
Amen. I'm over here like amening. All right.
That's a great point. I'm just going to add one quick thing too. I actually was talking to somebody earlier that couldn't make it to the call, and I was just asking her what questions she had, and one of her questions was, well, Beachbody's been around for a long time, and I know with a lot of MLM companies, if you're not in the business when it first starts, it's hard to be successful. And I've heard that so many times, guys, and I will tell you right now, number one, that's not true, especially the way the way our business is structured. That's not true. And two, just to give you an idea, I was telling her today, everybody's like, oh, I wish I would have started 5 years ago when you started. Honestly, right now is better than when I started 5 years ago, and I will tell you why. We just launched a new app for all of our accountability groups. And, some of my customers were like, oh, there's some kinks and, what's going on with this app? Because they were having some trouble with it going as smoothly as they thought it would go. But Beachbody always fixes everything, and everything always comes out better than they say it's going to. So I'm not worried at all. But the issue really was they were prepared for 1 million users on this platform. And since the coronavirus hit and the gyms closed and all these things have happened, we have over 2 million people using this platform, which is just incredible. I mean, within the past 7 to 8 weeks. So obviously the platform wasn't ready to hold an additional or service an additional 1 million people, but when they were sharing statistics with us, the thousands and thousands and thousands of people are working out at the same time streaming our workouts. We're averaging 1,000 new coaches a day joining our company. So there is no better time, to join than right now, because there is a huge need for starting a business from home, having additional income coming in, because there's a lot of unknowns, and people are struggling. They are really struggling. They are feeling alone. They are craving community. They are doing workouts and streaming them from different avenues, but they don't really have a workout program, and they don't really know what they're doing. And they're struggling with nutrition, and they need a positive, supportive community. So honestly, like I was telling her today, I truly believe, forget 5 years ago. Yeah, it would have been great if you started then. But I honestly believe with everything that's going on, there is no better time and no bigger need to help people than right now in our current situation. So I just thought that was important to share, because that was a question that came up earlier with you guys, or not with you, but someone I was talking to earlier.
Yeah, I want to actually add to that because I feel like not just in the fitness aspect of people needing that community and connection, but people looking for another job too and another outlet, because I have gone part-time through this, but I did have to go back to work after being home for a month and a half with my family, which is what we're working for through this business. And it was glorious. It was like, oh my gosh, like I always loved my other job at the hospital so, so much. Never wanted to leave, never thought I'd want to be a stay-at-home mom. And then coaching happened and I went part-time eventually, and I was like so happy with that, right? And then it's sort of like if you give a mouse a cookie. And then I was home for the past month and a half, and I think I didn't realize even how much my heart needs this 100%. Like when I started this journey, I saw this quote and it said, "Are the things you're doing and the people you're surrounding yourself leading you closer to or farther away from God?" And like my light bulb went off, and I was like so negative and unhappy at my other job, but just kind of making it through because it was the good job that I worked really hard for and I had liked it for so long. And then I thought, but you guys, like these people, you're the ones who make me work on personal development and make me work on treating my body better and treating my mind better. And I made that switch. And when I went back to work on Monday, it was hard, guys. It was super hard because when you're surrounded by such positivity and then you go back into the real world, that's a brutal adjustment. And there are a lot of people that I've talked to who were like, oh my God, like I didn't realize how much I needed more time at home, more presence with my children, more time to just enjoy things. And now they're going back to their jobs, if not now, soon. And this could be something that you could offer to them and grow and do together. So don't be afraid to put that out there. Like Kendra said, you don't know who's doing a job that they really love, and maybe on the inside they need something else. So another good time to join, I think.
Yes, yes. All right, you guys. You've heard us all. You've heard our hearts. So we thank you for taking the time to spend an hour with us tonight. And we are definitely in prayer about who joins our teams and your own personal businesses. So we look forward to chatting with you, to welcoming you guys, and we will talk to you guys all later. Probably tomorrow we'll follow up with you, okay? All right, you guys. Good night. Good night.
Bye, guys.